Once more, we go out on combat patrol. We've got issue 18, the second part of the second Tyranid set with the Termagants. Already got the other two pieces here ready to go because the third sprue and all of the bases, so we can finally put these together and actually put them on bases. Let's do this. What we get is the third sprue. This one's P3. Yep, there it is, P3. And 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 Termagant bases and the base for the Ripper Swarm. So that's pretty good. We'll put those to one side and those to the other side so that I don't lose them. Let's get into the magazine. We need to see what's going on in here because, of course, we got the first part of the instructions on how to build your Termagants in the previous one. So now, oh, interesting, we don't get another part. Of course we don't get another part. We've already had the Termagants, how to build, in a previous issue. I forgot about that. Yeah, of course we have. So we get instead all of the information on how to paint them. So this is looking interesting. Undercoating with Wraithbone, then going over with Barrack Burgundy, which I personally wouldn't have done. I'd have gone with the darker purple, but we've got Barrack, so we can use that. Then going over again with Wraithbone to cover up some of the edges, enhancing the talons with Abaddon Black, which is something that I didn't do when I first got my first set of Tyranids in the starter set. I painted their talons purple because it looked purple to me, but apparently it's black, so I went back and did it, and it does look better. It does give you that extra level, so that's pretty cool. Then we've got the Screamer Pink for the tongue, of course we have, and Squig Orange for the gun. I'm not going to be doing that. It doesn't look quite right to me. It just doesn't seem right for the gun to be that orangey colour. But each to their own. You have your style, I'll have mine, and neither of us is wrong because part of the hobby is enjoying painting in your own style. So there we go. Then we have Hive Worlds. This is some more of the lore. The vast majority of the Imperium's population live on Hive Worlds, hellish wastelands that are home to huge hive cities that house billions of workers. Countless trillions have been born, lived, and died knowing no sky but the rusted grating of the hive city above them. Yeah, the Imperium of Man is not a pleasant place to live. They're not the good guys, they're just what humanity has at the best of times for now. Anyway, well actually it's not the best of times. It's one of those very interesting things that I read online. It was an analysis of what Warhammer 40,000 actually is. And it's not a space opera. It's not the standard sci-fi that you'd read in a standard book. It's post-apocalyptic in the far future. It's like humanity's had its best, and those times are now gone. And now it's warlords fighting over what remains. It's quite an interesting idea, and I think it really does fit. It's a post-apocalyptic story. And when you see it in that light, a lot of it makes a lot more sense. Got bits about gang warfare, and then information about death worlds, which is something that we don't see an awful lot about in a lot of chatter online. But yeah, death worlds, there's lots and lots of them. And we get a lot of Space Marines from them as a result. Death worlds are hellish, even by the standards of the Imperium. Survival on these planets requires constant struggle. Yeah, that's where you get some of the stronger Space Marines from. You've got Baal, of course the Blood Angels are there from there. Fenris, where the Space Wolves are from. And then we have information about the successor chapters. Now, in the previous issue, we got the founding chapters. Now here's some information about the successors. The Black Templars are among the most famed of the successor chapters, and one of the deadliest. Yeah, they're a weird bunch. So I'm going to enjoy looking at that, because I don't remember a lot of them. Okay, we've got an interesting set of people here. Some of these I know. Some of the... Yeah, it's the silver... Okay, let me just grab the previous issue. Now, I've got the previous one here, and we've got the information about... Yeah, the Space Wolves. There's the Space Wolves with the wrong indicator on them. It's the Silver Templars. The Space Wolves and Silver Templars, they're using the same icon, even though that's not the Space Wolves icon. That's the Silver Templars, and it's there, right there, on their shoulders. So there we go. Ah, I was right. I'm happy now. We've got some very interesting successor chapters here. They're hilarious, some of these guys. But who are these? The Unnamed. Isn't that a name then? Interesting. As with all Dark Angel's successor chapters, the Unnamed are aware of their primogenitor's dark secrets and have chosen not to take a chapter name out of shame. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, okay. But they're still called the Unnamed, so they have a name. Just not an official one. Then we have the information about the effect that the Tyranids have on a lot of people before their actual Hive fleet arrives on a planet. The shadow in the warp. This is why when you're about to get attacked by Tyranids, you can't call for help anymore. It's all of this. The mere psychic presence of the hive mind is horrifying to behold. To those sensitive to the warp, the coming of a Tyranid hive fleet is a nightmare. A vast shadow in the warp that stifles out psychic communication and strikes fear into the heart of psychers. Yeah, you can't call for help. It's already too late. Is that a Neurolictor? No, I don't think it is. It's a very interesting design. Whatever that is. No, they're not. They're like neurophages or neuros. I don't know. I can't remember the name, but they're very cool. I love the design of the Tyranids. Probably my favorite faction in terms of design. They're really cool. Tyranids synapse organisms psychically project the shadow in the warp. Yes, they do. They blanket the area, and you can't call for help, and it's horrible, and they're going to eat your brains, and then all the rest of you. Once again, the pages are sticking together, even though I've just got this. I think this set of magazines got a little bit on the damp side, I don't know. But here they are. So that's all very interesting. Now we're talking about datasheet abilities. These are individual abilities that are on the individual datasheets that we've already had. Death Frenzy. Tyranid Prime is capable of fighting even beyond the point of death. What? This is represented in-game by the Death Frenzy rule. When the Tyranid Prime is slain by a melee attack, you roll a dice. On a 4+, it gets to fight before being removed from play. Only if it hasn't already fought in that phase. So, okay. Even while it's dying, it will still fight. That is creepy. Okay, that is cool. I like these interesting abilities. These are cool. Skulking Horrors, yeah, the termagants just move. It's not their turn, but they can move anyway. They're really, really weird. The Tyranids have little abilities that creep. They're very cool. I'm looking forward to seeing what we get for the other factions as well with some of this stuff. So we've got Feeding Frenzy, Disruption, Bombardment. This is cool. We're getting to see a lot of the stuff that makes Warhammer really interesting. So I'm looking forward to seeing more of that. What is in this magazine that I've... it's one of the pieces. That's why it wouldn't sit flat on the table. And this is cool. This is showing us what makes Warhammer 40,000 really, really interesting and strategic compared to a lot of other games out there. So I'm looking forward to giving this a try in battle. And we won't have to wait long because we're up to Scenario 14, Monster Hunt. In this scenario, you'll finally get to use the full strength of the Tyranid Swarm in battle, using their special rules and an extra unit of termagants. Will the Space Marines be able to weather such a force? I'm going to say probably not the way I play. You may have noticed by now, like, we're 18 issues in, and the Tyranids have won most fights. That's just how it is. I do try, but it's hard at times. Very similar setup to the previous mission. Basically, the Tyranid stuff up there, and the Space Marine stuff's down here. But now we're packing everyone into the top, which is very interesting. 3 objective markers, and the standard rules that we've had so far for determining victory points. We've got our command stratagems now. We've got our individual datasheet abilities for the various creatures that are out there. So this is going to be a fun fight. Let's get straight into it. Welcome back once again. This is Combat Patrol. We're on mission 14. And before we begin, I need to address one issue that came up with some of the comments from last episode. I've been using the criticals rule incorrectly. I got it mixed up with devastating wounds. Not sure how that happened, but yes. So to clarify, a critical hit always hits, a critical wound always wounds, a critical save always saves. the confusion came from devastating wounds, which allows critical wounds to ignore a save. I got it mixed up with standard critical wounding, which isn't the same thing. So, just to clarify, we'll be doing the proper rules from now on. Also, as a clarification, for objective points, if a side picks up an objective marker, like that one, or that one in this particular game, which should actually be in the centre. Let's move that a little bit so that it's properly centred for equality. Well, they keep it unless the other side then takes it. So I've decided to bring out 6 coloured dice. 3 for Space Marines, which are blue, and 3 for Tyranids, which are purple. And once they take them, they'll get marked, like that, until another team comes along and takes them off. And that's how I'll know which side has got what. I'll probably make some nice little markers and put them on the Gamehammer website in case anyone fancies downloading and printing their own. Just little markers about the size of the objective markers themselves with the faction's logo on it or something like that. I don't know yet. But either way, that's how we are at the moment. So, we're doing mission 14. In this scenario, you'll finally get to use the full strength of the Tyranid swarm in battle. Yes, you will. We've got pretty much everything, except for the Psychophage. The Psychophage is not included. He's here, but he's not included, and I'm not sure why. So it's not really the full force, because we have extras that could go in, but we haven't got them there. We even get to use both sets of termagants, which is nice. We get to use their special rules and an extra rule of termagants. Will the Space Marines be able to weather such a foe? So we haven't really covered special rules for Tyranids, but let's have a look at what they are. Do we have the special rules to hand? So I think this is what I'm filming this so far after I've looked at the actual magazines that these came from, that some of it is getting a little confused for me. So we're going to play as well as I can, let's put it that way. So I have the extras here. We have Oath of Moment for the Space Marines. At the start of your command phase, select one unit from your opponent's army. Until the end of your next command phase, that enemy unit is your Oath of Moment target. Each time a model with this ability makes an attack that targets your Oath of Moment target, you can re-roll the hit roll. We're going to be playing that with the Space Marines. This is the options for the Tyranids. We have Synapse, which is where a Tyranids unit from your army is within 6 inches of one or more friendly Synapse models. That Tyranids unit is said to be within Synapse range of those models and of your army. Each time a Tyranids unit from your army takes a Battleshock test, if it is within Synapse range of your army, take that test on 3d6 instead of 2d6. Or Shadow in the Warp. Once per battle in either player's command phase, if one or more units from your army with this ability are on the battlefield, you can unleash the Shadow in the Warp. When you do, each enemy unit on the battlefield must take a Battleshock test. We're going to use Synapse. We're going to use Synapse for the Tyranids and Oath of Moment for the Space Marines. There are special abilities. These ones I think come in later, which are different things. These are the enhancements and secondary objectives that we could have for combat patrol games. They'll come in later on. So we're going to put those to one side, but we have other things on the other side of these cards. What we've got here is the Tyranids list of command point options we can have. Teeming Broods. One termagant unit from your army can use the stratagem on that unit even if it's destroyed. Your unit is not destroyed, return up to d6 destroyed models to it. We have Voracious Assault. On shooting phase or fighting phase, until the end of the phase, each time a model in your unit makes an attack that targets the closest eligible target, you can re-roll the hit roll, which is a bit like Oath of Moment, but for only one thing. Or Hyperreactive. Until the end of the phase, each time an attack targets your unit, subtract 1 from its hit roll. For Space Marines, we have Gene-Wrought Resilience. Until the end of the phase, each time an attack targets your unit, if the strength characteristic of that attack is greater than your unit's toughness, subtract 1 from the wound roll. Veteran Instincts. Until the end of the phase, each time a model in your unit makes an attack, re-roll a wound roll of 1. If that attack targets a monster or vehicle unit, you can re-roll the wound roll instead. So the whole thing. But that only works for Terminators. There aren't any on this board today. Or Overwhelming Force. That objective marker is secured by you. See securing objective markers in the main rules for combat patrol missions. At the end of your command phase, target is one Adeptus Astartes unit from your army that is within range of an objective marker that you control. That objective marker is secured by you. What? Okay, I think I'll avoid that one for the moment, but you never know, it might come in useful. I'm pretty much sure we're going to be using Gene-Rot Resilience, if we use any at all. So, these are our abilities. We're going to be using Synapse and Oath of Moment. We were told by the mission that we had to put these units together. They are neck and neck, already in battle. We can, of course, withdraw. Neither's injured, so they won't incur any penalties, and neither's battle shocks, they won't incur any penalties from withdrawing, which that might happen, because let's face it, that is a Winged Tyranid Prime, which is like a flying Von Ryan's Leaper. But at the same time, I think the Librarian has a good chance of taking it down, so perhaps they won't. Space Marines won the role to place, and they've placed like this, which kind of shows what they're going to do. These guys are going to rush to take that, he's going to rush to take that. We'll see how it goes from there. In response, the Tyranids have swarmed. We've got Barbgaunts, we've got Termagants, we've got more Termagants, and we've got Von Ryan's Leapers. Clearly, they're coming down here, he's going to go over there, they're going to go to there to try and get that, and the Barbgaunts are going to try and shoot everyone. I've got a nice mocha cappuccino, I've got some dice, let's play some Warhammer. Let's see who goes first. Okay, Tyranids have won the roll-off. Let's move this down to here for the moment and begin the move. So, Termagants have a 6-inch move, which means that they can get onto their board. So, first of all, they can go to there, which will get our front guys onto it. Not many, though. So what we're actually going to do is an advance move. Let's do an advance. Okay, they get 9 inches instead of their usual 6. So that's not bad. So they've got 9 inches to play with. Let's get this going. So we can move our first guys over to here instead. Now we've got to remember, those guys advance, they can't fire now. They are not able to fire. But they've got that objective, which is actually very, very useful for the Tyranids. So we're also going to move these guys 6 inches. These guys don't need an advance in order to move because, let's face it, they're much closer and much better set to be able to do this. Okay, in there. So they're in. Von Ryan's Leapers, 10-inch move. We're going to try and get over this, which will require us to remove 3 inches. Is it 3? Yes, it was 3 inches according to the Combat Patrol rules for getting over that. So they've only got 7 inches to play with, which means we can only get to here for that guy, there for that guy, and that guy I don't think could even get over that because he'd end up on top of the thing. So I'm going to move him there, but he's still within unit coherency, so he'll stand there. Actually, 9 and 1 more inch. We'll get him to there. So he's not exactly out of position. He's okay. Right, Barbgaunts. They're not moving. They're going to stay where they are for the specific reason that I want both heavy and blast to be useful when we fire on those guys. If we take down the Infernus squad, who ignore cover, we've got a very good chance of wiping out the Space Marines before they can do much. And as we can already see, they do have line of sight. We can definitely see them. Although there is that, so technically they would have benefit of cover if we want to go down that route. Which we do. We want to go down that route because that route involves shooting at them. They don't have armor penetration. These guys have a save of 3+, so benefit of cover doesn't even come into it. So when the shooting phase starts, they're actually pretty well set off. Okay, everyone has moved. We're going to start shooting. Those guys can't shoot. Those guys can't shoot because they can't even see him, never mind shoot. Those guys can. They've got blast, they've got heavy. 5 in the unit, they haven't moved, so +1 onto their hits and wounds as well. So let's do this. How many do they get? Barbgaunts have D6 attacks. And there's 5 of them, so 5 D6 attacks. Okay, 3, 5, 11, 12, and 15. That's not bad at all. Normally they'd hit on a 4+, but because they haven't moved and there's 5 in the thing, we get both blast and heavy. So we hit on a 3+, 15 attacks hitting on a 3+. 6 have managed to hit. That is not bad at all. Strength of 5. Inferno Squad have toughness of 4, so strength is higher than toughness. They hit. They wound even on a 3+. Okay, all of them have wounded 2 critically. They don't have devastating wounds, so we're okay. Got 6 wounds, potentially. So, now we have to save. They have no armor penetration, which means that they don't get benefit of cover because of the rules with a 3+ save. So, they have the standard 3+ save. They're going to need it, because this might be the volley that really sets the scene. Okay. Save, save, save. 3 managed to get through. 3 did not get saved. So, Barb Gaunts have damage of 1 per hit. Inferno Squad have 2 wounds. So, 1 wound, 2 wounds, 1 guy's down. 1 wound left, 1 guy is hurt. Let's give him his wound marker. There we go. So, first blood goes to the Tyranids. With that done, are we charging? Well, not with most of them, but the Von Rein's Leapers, they're definitely charging. There's no real reason for them not to. They're going to need... He's the furthest. So he's going to need about 6 inches. Yeah, they're going to need about a 6-inch charge. It's probably not going to happen. But let's give it a try and see what happens either way. Okay, they've got it. They've got an 11-inch charge. They can more than do this, so they can get in there, no problem at all. Let's move them around. Leapers are the only ones that are charging. I have done this on purpose to encircle a librarian and ensure that the Space Marines cannot pull him out of danger. So, now we move on to the fights phase, and of course, Von Rein's Leapers have fights first. Does anyone else have fights first? No. Literally no one else on this board has fights first, so the Leapers are going straight in, they're attacking the Librarian. Let's do this, we have entered the fight phase. So, Von Rein's Leapers, they have 6 attacks each, there's 3 of them, so that's 18 attacks. They hit on a 3+. That one's slightly cocked. 14 hits, that's not bad at all. They have a strength of 5 against the Librarians. Toughness of 5, so they wound on a 4+, which gives them 50-50 odds. Not bad at all. So that's 10 wounds, that's not bad at all. Armor penetration -1, so Librarian's normal 2+ save goes to 3+. Let's see, he's going to need this. He's going to need a lot of this. And remember, Librarian hasn't had time to have his go yet, so we have no command points to play with for re-rolling. He needs to save. He needs to save bad on a 3+. 6 have saved. 4 have not. Von Rein's Leapers do 1 damage per. Librarian has 5 wounds. He's got 1 left and will have to take a battle shock test on round 1. So that's quite something. Now the Librarian himself is going to have a go. He's going to fight, and it doesn't really matter if he hits the Tyranid Prime or the Leapers in terms of the amount of damage that's going to be done to him. He's not going to get another turn. So actually, I'm going to go for the Winged Tyranid Prime simply on the number of wounds it's got. So the Librarian is going to have a go with his Force weapon. He gets 4 attacks. He has a Force Axe. 4 attacks. We're hitting on a 3+. Okay, 2 did not wound. 2 did not hit. 2 did not hit, but 2 did. So, he has a strength of 6 against the Tyranid Prime's toughness of 5. He wounds on a 3+. 1 of them is wounded. Armor penetration of -1. So it saves on a 5+. Can it save? No, it does not. So let's have a look. He does D3 damage on the Tyranid Prime. He does 3 damage. Okay, Tyranid Prime has 6 wounds, but now it's on half damage. It's taken 3 already, so it will also need Battle Shocking. But it gets to attack because it's still up. The Librarian couldn't possibly have taken it down, but he's managed to half its wounds, so that's pretty good. So it's going to fight now, and of course it's attacking the Librarian as well. It gets 6 attacks on its own with its talons. It hits on a 2+. Okay, every single one of them is hit. This is not good for the Librarian. Strength of 6 against toughness of 5. It wounds on a 3+. 2 did not wound. 4 wounds got through. Okay, so it has an armor penetration of -1, so he saves on a 3+. And 2 did not save. So 4 damage gets through. Librarian is down on turn 1. The Tyranids have immediately swarmed and done exactly what Tyranids do. They have fed. Om nom 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 nom. So, there we go. At the end of turn 1 for the Tyranids, they've taken down the Infernus Marine and the Librarian through sheer weight of numbers and overwhelming force. They are well placed to consolidate their victory in the coming rounds, but now it's over to the Space Marines. Well, what's left of them. At the start of the Space Marines round, they do get their 1 command point, and they are going to declare their Oath of Moment target. I'm going to say it's going to be the Tyranid Prime. We're going to mark the Tyranid Prime as our Oath of Moment target. There we go. I've marked it with that die so that we can tell who it is, along with its damage die. And remember, we've selected one, and until the next command phase for us, until the start of our next command phase, that enemy unit is our target. Each time a model with this ability makes an attack that targets your Oath of Moment target. Oath of Moment is on all of our guys. Every single one has Oath of Moment, so any of them can do this. Every time we attack, we can reroll our hit roll. So there we go. We don't have to spend a command point to do it. So there we go. Right, that is the end of our command phase. So now we're going to move. Now, the captain is unfortunately placed incorrectly. I didn't think this through properly. He needs to come and get this one while those guys go for that on sheer weight and numbers. So I need my captain to come in and get this to get our points that we need. So we're going to move. He only has a 5-inch move, therefore we're going to need him to do an advanced move in order to get anywhere if we want to actually take it on this round. So I'm not going to take it on this round. I'm just going to move him 5 inches to here, because he can then shoot through those. Yes, they would get benefit of cover, perhaps, but at least we've got this. The Infernus squad, on the other hand, has a 6-inch move, so they are going to move to here, which means our guy is on there. But at least we're going to be able to get somewhere with them. So that is our movement phase. It's not much, but it'll do for now. So, by the way, we can already tell Termagants have got that one. So I'm just going to mark that for the Termagants because, let's face it, they're getting it. This one's going to be in contention in a moment, hopefully, because now we're into our shooting phase. Let's do the captain first. He has a Stormbolter with a 24-inch range. These guys are 12 inches away from him. Only just. That guy is. The Tyranid Prime, however, is 16 inches away. So we don't get the extra amount of firepower that we would get if we were doing, if we were able to use rapid fire. But we will get plenty of Dakar anyway. So let's do this. Hopefully we will anyway. 2 attacks, hitting on a 2+ for the captain on the Oath of Moment target, Tyranid Prime. Let's do this. 2 attacks, hitting on a 2+. Both of them have hit. There we go. So we didn't need to use our reroll hit roll. Never mind. I'm sure we'll manage. Strength of 4 against the Tyranid Prime's toughness of 5. He only hits on a 5+. One of them is hit. And it's a critical. Shame that doesn't have devastating wounds. It really is. No armor penetration. And the Tyranid Prime save is 4+, which means that with benefit of cover, he saves on a 3+ for this. He doesn't save. So, an extra damage. 1 damage. He's now on 4. It's not great, but it'll keep us going. It's not brilliant. We kind of really needed more to get rid of him. But at least we've got something, and that's what counts. Now, to move on, we have 4 Infernus Squad. By the way, the Barb Gaunts can't use one of their devastating extra special attacks now because there's only 4. The Infernus Squad have 4 guys left. They have Pyre Blasters, which do D6 attacks. There's 4 of them, so 4d6. They are targeting this bunch of Termagants. Let's see how many attacks they get. And remember, because this is a torrent weapon, it automatically hits. So, d6 attacks automatically hitting. Okay, 6, 11, 14, 16 attacks, all have hit. Strength of 5 against Termagant's toughness of 3, which means they wound on a 3+. Wounding on a 3+. 12 wounds. 12 have managed to get through. They have no armor penetration. They've got line of sight. There's no benefit of cover. Termagants need a 5+ save on 12 attacks. 5+ save on 12 attacks. Let's do this. 5 managed to save. That's not bad. 7 did not, however. What's the Pyre Blaster's damage is 1. There's 7 total damage. Each one has 1 hit, but the Termagants only have 1 wound, which means that 7 wounds to distribute. The first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and one off the back 7. There we go. Are we charging? Well, the captain can't, because he would have to charge that way, and we want him to get to here. So the captain is not charging. The Infernus Squad, however, need more guys on this, so they're definitely charging those Termagants. So let's see how it goes for them. They're going to need at least a 4-inch charge. Can they get a 4-inch charge? Well, they've already got it, so yes, they've got 7. So there we go. Let's get those guys in as much as we can. There we go. As much as possible there. Okay. There we go. So they're in. No one that's fighting has fights first, because these guys are down here and they're out of the fight. So, with the Infernus Squad having charged, they get to go first. They're using their close combat weapons, which are like short swords, like a gladius style, and they get 3 attacks each. But only 2 of them have managed to get into combat range. So only 2 of them are fighting, which means 6 attacks. Okay, 6 attacks, and they hit on a 3+. I have not done very well here. 4 of them have not hit. That's not great. So 2 managed to actually hit. Strength of 4 against toughness of 3, so we wound on the 3+. Both have wounded, excellent. No armor penetration, so Termagants save on a 5+. Okay, neither of them have saved. We do 1 damage per. Well, actually, I'm going to, from the Termagants' point of view, I'm going to take those 2 off the back. Because the player that's running the models on that faction, they get to choose which ones. And that means I get to keep a guy on here to fight them. So here we go. Termagants get the fight back. There's only 1 of them left. He has a close combat chitinous claws and teeth attack, which gives him 1 attack. Hitting on a 4+. Strength of 3 against toughness of 4. Wounds on a 5+. Does not wound. So there we go. That's the end of the fights round. So actually, not bad. For the start of the game, at the end of round 1, Both teams have done substantial damage, but it's not enough to tell which side's going to win yet. So we go into round 2 with Space Marines on 0 and Tyranids on 0. We go back to the Tyranids' turn now, so they get an extra command point immediately. We also now have to determine who owns what in terms of objectives. No one's on this one, so that's out. Only Tyranids are on this one, so they get it. I've put a marker there. So this one's the one that's in play. So we've got a Termagant on there with an objective control of 2. However, we have 4 Infernus Marines on it with an objective control of 1, and 1 each, that is, and there's 4 of them. So 2 against 4, the Space Marines actually have that, which means Tyranids don't get it. So at the start of round 2, Tyranids get 5 points. That's not bad. Now we have to decide what we're doing. Well, first of all, it's probably a good idea if we start moving some guys. That Termagant can't hold that marker. So we can try and overwhelm these Space Marines. If we start faffing about, we could probably get that. And who better to do it than the Von Ryan's Leapers, who have a charge right up the centre. So we're going to move. We're going to move the Von Ryan's Leapers. They have a 10-inch move. Yeah, they can do it. Okay. So, Von Ryan's Leapers are going to move to here. They can't go into... they can't get within an engagement range of 1 inch. And unfortunately, they would have to from here. So we're just going to move them to here. Very specifically to here, because that way they can charge. And we are also going to move the Winged Tyranid Prime, its 12-inch move, onto here, because that gives us a good run to try and keep the captain off it once we get into the next stage. So that is our movement for now, and we're not going to move these guys because they'll still get one of their benefits if we don't move and attack him. They can see him. He is viewable. He will not, however, get benefit of cover, will he? Because no, he won't, because Barbed Gaunts don't have armor penetration, so he doesn't get benefit of cover, which means it's a very good target for us. So that is our movement. Let's move into the shooting phase. Termagants can't shoot because their close combat weapon is assault rather than pistol. These guys don't have a ranged attack, neither does the Winged Tyranid Prime, but the Barbed Gaunts do and the Termagants do. Can the Termagants see these guys? I think technically they say it's kind of blocking line of sight, but they've got it. They don't really, do they? So actually these ones block line of sight from what I remember, even though that really shouldn't. No, the rules at the start of Combat Patrol magazine said these ones block line of sight. So I'm going to say that they don't have it because they just can't see the guys. However, he can be seen through a direct line. So I'm going to say that they've got line of sight there. So they can't shoot. He can't shoot. They can, however, shoot him. So they're going to shoot. Let's do this. So they don't get one of their things. It's either blast or heavy, and I can never remember which. So we're going to quickly look it up. Is it blast or is it heavy that they've lost because there's not enough people in the unit? So let's have a look. +1 to hit rolls if the bearer's unit remains stationary. So it's heavy. Blast is the one that gets with over 5 or more people in the thing, so we get heavy. Add 1 to hit rolls if the bearer's unit remains stationary. Well, they haven't moved, so let's do this. They get their heavy. Hold on, I've forgotten to move that. That's his marker, because until the start of the command phase, he's still our oath of the moment target. So let's do this. They get D6 attacks +1. So there's 5 of them. D6 +5. That one did not. There we are. So 6, 10, 11, 12, and then we have extra ones, 15, plus the 5, 20. 20 attacks. They hit on a 4+. Oh, they are. Yeah, they hit on a 4+. And by the way, just to counter anyone saying we haven't measured, their range is 24 inches, they're 22 inches away. They can basically hit anywhere on the board. So, they're hitting on a 4+. 12 hits. That's not bad at all. 12 hits. Strength of 5 against the captain's toughness of 5. So they wound on a 4+. It's basically 50-50. 3 wounds. That's not bad. No armor penetration. So he uses standard 2+ save. Is he going to make it? Every single one is saved. That's great news for him. He's doing okay. So, with the firing round over, we're now going to do the charge round. Well, obviously, we've got a few people who are going to charge. So, this guy's going to charge. The Von Ryan's Leaper's going to charge. We're going to do the Leapers first. They're going to need a 1-inch charge to get into range with those guys, but any more than a 1-inch charge would be perfect for getting as many of these guys in as possible. So let's see what they get. Okay, they get a 7-inch charge. Yeah, they're in. They can get in and attack. So all our guys into position. Move his marker over to there. Right, they're in. With this one, however, we're going to need more of a charge. He's going to need 7 inches. Can he get it? He doesn't get it. He failed the charge, so he's only on 5. He has to stay there. Okay, so in the fights round, well, Von Ryan's Leapers fight first, then it'll be the Inferno Squad, then the Termagant. So they are the only ones that will be fighting. Let's do this. Von Ryan's Leapers, 6 attacks each, 3 of them still, so they get 18 attacks. Let's do this. And they hit on a 3+. The Inferno Squad might not take this. 12 managed to hit. That's not bad. 12 hits. So they have a strength of 5 against the Inferno Squad's toughness of 4. They wound on a 3+. 8 wounds. That's substantial. I have a feeling the Inferno Squad are not going to get through this. Armor penetration -1. So the Inferno Squad save on a 4+. They've managed to save several, but 3 still got through. Von Ryan's Leapers have damage of 1. So this guy is straight down, and that's 1 of the damage gone. And then another guy is down for the other 2 damage. It's not good. It's not good from the point of view of the Inferno Squad. So, Inferno Squad are now going to attack the Von Ryan's Leapers with their close combat swords. They have 3 attacks each. There's only 2 of them left. So that means 6 attacks. Let's do this. They hit on a 3+. Every single one, nope, sorry, 1 didn't hit. 5 have managed to hit. That's pretty good. So they have a strength of 4 against the Leaper's toughness of 5. They wound on a 5+. 1 of them is wounded. Only 1 has wounded. That's not great. Not great at all. Okay. No armor penetration. Leapers save on a 4+. Leapers saved. No damage. Right. Termagant gets to fight now. He's got 1 go left. He has 1 attack with his teeth and his claws. And he hits on a 4+. He is hit. Strength of 3 against Inferno Squad's toughness of 4, so he wounds on a 5+. He's managed to wound. That's pretty good. No armor penetration, so they save on a 3+. They have managed to save. So, not bad at all. That is the end of the fights phase. So, now we move over to the Space Marines' turn. Wow, that went down quick. You might hear that there's a lot of rain outside. Nothing I can do about that. So, at the start of the Space Marines' turn, I'm going to move the Oath of Moment to the Von Ryan's Leapers. Let's see how this goes. So, movement phase, we're going to move. But first of all, we need a battle shock test. Just realise we need a battle shock before we do anything else. Battle shock for the Inferno Squad. They have a 6+ leadership. There we go, we have 4. So, the Inferno Squad are battle shocked. If we move them out of melee, everyone gets an attack of opportunity on them, which means they'll die. So we're leaving them in melee. It also means that they can't claim that. So we get no victory points at all. We just don't get them. Okay, now to the movement phase. The only ones that are moving are the captain. He has a 5-inch move, so he gets to move to there. He's not within range of that. He's not within engagement range, so we're going on straight to the shooting phase. He is going to shoot the Tyranid Prime. They're going to shoot as well because they have pistols and therefore can, but we're going to start with the captain. Captain has Storm Bolter with a range of 24 inches. That is well within 24-inch range, so instead of 2 attacks, he now gets 4. Let's see if he can actually do some big damage. This is what we need. 4 attacks, hitting on a 2+. Okay, 1 did not hit. So 3 hits. He has strength of 5 against Tyranid Prime's toughness of 5, so he wounds on a 4+. 2 did not wound. Good thing we had those extras. He has armor penetration -2, so the Tyranid Prime saves on a 6 only. A 3, it doesn't get it. He does 2 damage. It only has 2 left. Tyranid Prime is down. Okay, tables are starting to turn. This is good stuff. This is good stuff for the point of view of the Space Marines, who now are going to be able to start cleaning up the board. It's going to be hard though. It's going to be very hard because they have already lost a big key player in their game and several of the mid-tier guys. So this is going to be tough for them. Right, we are now going to attack the Oath of Moment Von Ryan's Leapers with the Inferno Squad. They're using their bolt pistols. They get 1 attack each. There's only 2 of them, but they hit on a 3+. However, with Oath of Moment, each time a model with this ability makes an attack target your Oath of Moment target, you can reroll the hit roll. So we get 2 attacks, and if they don't hit, we get to reroll. There we go. So let's do this. We've got 2 attacks hitting on a 3+. Both have hit. Amazing. So 2 hits. They have strength of 4 against the Leaper's toughness of 5, so they hit wound on a 5+. One of them is wounded. Critical. It's sad that we don't have any extras for that. Armor penetration of none. So the Leapers save on a 4+. They did not save, which means one of them has now got a bit of damage. Just a bit, but enough. So there we go. At the end of the shooting phase, we have managed to kill a Tyranid Prime and wound one of the Leapers. Right, now we're doing charge. I don't think there's any chance that charge would be useful here. Let's see what we could do. How much would he need for a charge? He would need a 12-inch charge to get directly there. It's worth a shot, isn't it? Worth a try? To see if he can save some of his guys? Let's do it. He doesn't get it. What a surprise. Okay, so the charge isn't happening. The only fight that's going on is here, and Von Ryan's Leapers get fights first. So let's just get into this. There's still 3 of them. They still get 6 attacks each, so it's 18 attacks. 18 attacks, and they hit on a 3+. That's 12 attacks that got through. Not bad at all. Strength of 5 against the Infernus, toughness of 4, so they wound on a 3+. 3 did not wound. Okay, the Space Marines are in trouble. Armor penetration -1, so they save on a 4+, which means they're going to need to save all of these, and that's going to be quite difficult because it's 9 saves. Let's do this. That one's cocked. 7 saved, 2 did not. That's a pretty good go. However, it's D1, so they're 1 damage per, which means one of these guys is down. Now they get to fight back. The Inferno Squad gets to fight back, and they have 3 attacks with the close combat short swords, 3 attacks hitting on a 3+. There's only 1 of them left, so only 3 attacks. Hitting on a 3+. Every single one is hit. Excellent. So strength of 4 against toughness of 5. They're going to wound on a 5+. Okay, 1 didn't wound. 2 did. Excellent. Arm penetration of 0. So Von Ryan's Leapers save on a 4+. Neither is saved, which means 1 damage per. 2 damage. That one's already got 1 damage, and they only have 3 wounds. They've finally taken 1 down. That's good news. And here's the best part. The Inferno Squad is now out of engagement range, so no one can fight them. at the end of round 2. The Inferno squad has managed to stay upright. The captain has killed the Tyranid Prime, but the Space Marines are still in a lot of trouble. Let's move in to round 3. Okay, at the start of round 3, the Tyranids get an extra command point, which puts them on 3. Let's have a look at this. We need to check if he's battle shocked. He is battle shocked. So let's see if this guy is battle shocked. They have a leadership of 8+, and he gets it. So he's not battle shocked, which means the Tyranids still have this. That's 2 plus whatever these guys have. They have objective control of 1 each, so that's 4 against his objective control of 1. Tyranids have this as well. But they don't have this. So they have 5 points and 5 points plus 5 points for controlling more objectives than their opponent, 15 points, which puts them on 20. Now that's not bad at all. I think we can all agree that is not bad. So, first things first, movement phase. Are we going to move any guys? I think the answer is yes. Yes, we are. We're going to move the von Rhein's Leapers. We do not need the von Rhein's Leapers on this objective anymore. We need to get this one, because that guy is tough and he is now our priority target. So, we're going to move the von Rhein's Leapers. They get 10-inch moves. So I'm going to move them 3, and then 7. Put some there. Not within fighting range yet, but definitely within charge range. And to change things up, that's all we're doing for movement. Barb Gaunts don't need to move because they have a 24-inch range. This guy is within 22 inches. And actually, the 24-inch there would get him right to the middle. So he'd have to be on this side before they'd even have to think about moving. So there we go. We don't need to move anywhere else. So, now we're on to the shooting phase. Well, we are, of course, going to be shooting. First of all, the Barb Gaunts are going to shoot this guy. And, yeah, he's only one guy, but so they don't get their blast, but they do still get heavy. So there's 5 of them. We need 5d6 plus 5 number of attacks. So 5, 7, 10, 16, 18 attacks plus the 5, so 23 attacks. And they hit on a 4+. Let's do this. That one is cocked. And I dropped one on the floor, so I've got to go and find that. There it is. 8 attacks. 8 hits. That's not bad, 8 hits. So, 8 hits. They have strength of 5 against his toughness of 5. So they wound on a 4+. 3 wounds. Not bad. They have no armor penetration, so he saves on a 2+. Let's see how he does. Okay, all of them are saved, so he's fine. Termagant is now going to shoot at this guy. Probably not going to do much damage, but he doesn't need to do a huge amount. So, Termagant gets 1 attack, hitting on a 4+. 1 attack hitting on a 4+. He's hit. Strength of 5 against their toughness of 4, so he wounds on a 3+. He did not wound. Okay, now we charge. Charging time! We're getting through these quite quickly now because the numbers are starting to reduce. So, how much do we need for these guys? They're going to need a 5-inch charge. Let's see if they get it. They do! So they have a 5-inch charge. Now the Termagant doesn't have much of a charge. He needs 2 inches. Well, he's going to get it, so there we go, he's got it. So he's now in range. So, let's do this. Everyone who's fighting is now in position to fight. Let's begin. Von Rhein's Leapers get first go. They get 6 attacks each. There's only 2 of them now, so they're going to get 12 attacks. They hit on a 3+. 3 did not hit, so 9 managed to hit. Pretty good. Strength of 5, toughness of 5. So they they wound on a 4+. 3 did not wound, but 6 have. Armor penetration of -1. So the captain saves on a 3+ now. Let's see. How can he do? All but 1 managed to save. Damage of 1, so he's got 1 damage. But it's okay because he has 6 wounds, so he's still upright. And now he gets to fight as well. He has a relic sword with 6 attacks. 1 did not hit. 5 hits, not bad. Strength of 5 against toughness of 5. He wounds on a 5+. 5. 3 did not wound. So 2 wounds, 2 got through. Armor penetration -2, so the leapers save on a 6+. 1 of them saved. 1 of them did not. 2 damage. Leapers have 3 damage per, so 1 of them is almost dead. That's a good start. Termagant now gets to fight. He only gets 1 attack with his chitinous claws and teeth, and he hits on a 4+. He is not hit. Inferno Squad gets 3 attacks with their close combat short sword, and they hit on a 3+. All of them have hit. Strength of 4 against toughness of 3, so he wounds on a 3+. All have wounded. No armor penetration, so the Termagant saves on his natural 5+ save. Let's see how it goes. 1 has saved, 2 did not. 1 damage per, he's only got 1 wound. Termagant is down. So, there we go. It was worth a shot to try and get that Infernus Marine out of the game, but at the end of the Tyranid's turn, they've lost a fair amount of victory here, but they've managed to damage the captain. So we're going to have to move in some extra supplies in terms of these guys and potentially those guys as well. Meanwhile, it's Space Marine's turn. So at the start of their turn, they get an extra command point, putting them on 3. And now we have to do a battle shock test. So the Inferno Squad have a leadership of 6. They get it. He is not battle shocked, which means this now goes to the Space Marines. This is a bit different though. We have objective control of 1 for the Captain and Terminator armor. However, both of these are only just on with their bases. So, Foreman Sleeper's objective control is 1 per, which means they've got 2 on that, which means the Space Marines don't get that. So they only have objective control on 1, and that gives them 5 points. We are going to have to try and shoot, aren't we? Absolutely, we're going to have to try and shoot. So, we're going to move first, but not by much. Inferno Squad have a 6-inch move. I'm going to move him to here, to the edge of the thing, so that he has a damn good look without benefit of cover on those. He's going to shoot. Now, he has a Pyre Blaster, which means that we do D6 attacks and they hit automatically. So he gets 2 attacks. It's not great, but it's better than nothing. Hit automatically. So he has strength of 5 against the Barb Gaunts, toughness of 4. He wounds them on a 3+. Both of them have managed to wound. Armor penetration and 0, so Barb Gaunts save on a 4+. They're going to need it. Neither is saved. Oh, so he does 1 damage per. Barb Gaunts have 2 wounds. One of them is down. Barb Gaunts are starting to lose. Excellent. This is good news for everyone because, remember, their plus goes down and their number of attacks goes down because one of their guys is down. Now, we have to decide, are we charging? Yes, I think we're going to charge. For a very specific reason. We've got this. Unless those guys can get up to there, it stays with the Space Marines. So, if he charges, he takes the Barb Gaunts out of the ability to shoot, which means that he's protected from their major attack. Barb Gaunts have worse attacks in melee than they do in ranged. So he's got a better chance of survival. So yes, he's going to charge. He's going to need a 5-inch charge. He's got it. So let's do this. Fights. Fights phase. Now, we didn't need to charge with that guy because he's already in fighting range. So, the Von Ryan's Leapers have fights first. 6 attacks each, 2 of them, so 12 attacks. 12 attacks. They hit on a 3+. 3 didn't hit, so we've got 9 wounds. So, let's see how they do. Strength of 5 against toughness of 5. They wound on a 4+. 6 wounds there. So now we need to just work out, do they have arm penetration? -1. So Captain saves on a 3+. Can he save? He's going to need it. He's going to need to save on a 3+. 4 saved, but 2 did not. Von Ryan's Leapers do 1 damage per, so that's 2 extra damage. He is now on half his wounds. He's going to need a battle shock test next round. Okay. He gets to hit now, so he gets 6 attacks. And he wounds on a 2+. We didn't change our oath a moment. I wasn't going to. They're still on there. So his hit roll. He hits on a 2+. 1 did not wound. I don't think there's point in re-rolling it, because let's face it, we can only really go down. There's not much chance of us going up. So 5, strength of 5 against toughness of 5. He wounds on a 4+. 2 did not wound, but 3 did. Okay. Armor penetration -2, so the Von Ryan's Leapers save only on a 6. Let's do this. None of them have saved. He does 2 damage per, so that one is down because it takes 2 damage. Takes 1 out. So we've got 4 damage here, and that's only got 3 wounds. Both of them are dead. The tide is turning. The tide is definitely turning. However, can it turn enough for this guy to keep going? We shall see. He now goes. Infernus Squad get 3 attacks per with their close combat swords. And they wound on a 3+, so none of them have wounded. That is wonderful. Well done, guys. Well done. So at this point, Barb Gaunts would get to pile in because it's the fighting phase. So 4 of them. They get 1 attack each. They hit on a 4+. All of them have hit. Oh, that's not good. Strength of 4 against toughness of 4. They wound on a 4+. Okay, 2 did not wound. They've no special extras. So, arm penetration 0. So, we have a standard saving throw of 3+ for the Infernus Marine. Can he save? He needs to save. Both of them are saved. He's okay. He lives to fight another day. So at the end of round 3, the Tyranids are on 20 with 3 command points to play with, while the Space Marines are on 5 with 3 command points to play with, but the tables are turning. Because all of the major players for the Tyranids are down, whereas the Space Marines still have 1. So, we go into round 4. At the start of round 4, the Tyranids get an extra command point, but with their victory points, well, they have this, but they don't have that, and they don't have that. So they don't have more than the opponents, because 1 each. So for victory points, the Tyranids only get an extra 5, which takes them to 25, yes, but it also means that there are still enough points on the board for the tide to turn. So let's see how this goes. Well, is there going to be any movement? There has to be. There has to be movement. Because if the Tyranids don't move now, nothing is going to work out for them at all. They need to get these guys over to here. But they only have a 6-inch move. So they've got to move now. If they want a chance of that on the next turn, they've got to move now. So 6 inches of movement will get them. Let's move them this way. It'll get them there quicker. No one else is moving, because if we were to move them, it would take them away from what they're actually going to be doing. We could fall back, but it's not going to work out well. So we're going to leave them as they are. So shooting phase. How long is the termagant shooting range? 18 inches. They can see this guy, but he's outside of their range. He's out of shooting range. So they can't shoot him. They can't shoot into melee because they don't have pistol. So pretty much, there isn't a shooting phase for the Tyranids. We're going to go straight to charge. Are we charging? No, because they need to get to there, not over to there. So we're not charging. Let's go to fight phase. There's not going to be much. It's just the barb gaunts, and they're going to fight. They get 4 attacks because they each get 1 attack, and they hit on a 4+. So 4 attacks on a 4+. 2 have hit. Excellent. Good news for them. Strength of 4 against a toughness of 4, so they wound on a 4+. 1 is wounded. Fantastic. No armor penetration, so the Inferno Squad saves on a 3+. And he doesn't save. Oh my goodness. That gives 1 damage. He is currently undamaged, but Inferno Squad only have 2 wounds, so he is half strength. However, he does now get to fight back, and he gets 3 attacks. With his sword, he gets 3 attacks, hitting on a 3+. And 2 have managed to hit. He has strength of 4 against their toughness of 4, so he wounds on a 4+. 1 is wounded. Okay, no armor penetration, so they save on a 4+. They don't save. He gets to do 1 damage. So, one of them is badly hurt, but not enough to take it down because, like the Inferno Squad, barb gaunts have 2 wounds. Okay, not bad. At the end of the Tyranid's turn, not a lot's changed from the start, but, well, it's progress. Right, on to the Space Marines. First of all, Battle Shock test on that guy. So, he has a leadership of 6+. He gets it. Battle Shock on this guy. He has a leadership 6+. He gets it, which means that is now Space Marines, that is now Space Marines. They have 5 points for that, 5 points for that, and 5 points for having more than the Tyranids, which puts them on 15, taking them up to 20. And they also get an extra command point. So they have 20 victory points and 4 command points to play with. Let's set our Oath of Moment to the Barb Gaunts, which I think is our best move. So, are we moving? Yes. We're going to move. Space Marine Captain is going to move 5 inches. Let's put him to about there. It's not a huge amount. He can't shoot. That blocked line of sight. Sorry, I'm not going to do that. That's a bad move. Put him back to there. I'm going to do an advanced move. Right, he now gets to move 10 inches. Which puts him to there. That is a better move for our point of view for victory, because he can then challenge this on the next turn. And since in round 5, victory points for the person who goes second are counted at the end of their turn rather than at the start, that is going to work out better for us. So, let's do this. We have now moved. He can't charge and he can't fire because of advancing. He could fight, but he's not within fighting range. So, we now move to shoots. Well, we are going to shoot. We have a pistol on our Inferno Squad guy. He gets only 1 attack, but let's see how he does. 1 attack from hitting on a 3+. He's hit. Strength of 4 against Barb Gaunt's toughness of 4 means that he wounds on a 4+. He does not wound. Oh, that's a shame. So shooting round's over. We can't charge with him, but he's well positioned. So let's just go straight to fights. He's going to fight. The Inferno Squad attacks with 3 attacks with their close combat sword, hitting on a 3+. All of them have hit. Strength of 4 against toughness of 4, wounds on a 4+. All of them have wounded. He gets no armor penetration, so they save on their standard 4+. All of them have saved. Oh my goodness, that is amazing. Right, Barbgons get to go in again now. So they get only 1 attack each, but there are 4 of them. Let's see how they do. 1 attack, and they hit on a 4+. 2 did not hit. So, strength of 4, toughness of 4, they wound on a 4+. Neither's wounded. Okay. At the end of the round 4, things are looking up for the Space Marines, surprisingly enough. So let's go straight in with the Tyranids. First of all, does anyone need battle shocks? No, they're fine. So we're at the start of round 5. Everyone is fine. Tyranids get the 5 for this, but not for either of these. So they get an extra command point. They have to, and I mean have to, take this and hold it if they want to stop the Space Marines from winning. Because right now, with the Space Marines on 20, if they continue to hold both of these markers, both of these objectives, then they can get 15 points and put them 5 points ahead of the Tyranids. So the Tyranids have to take that. So let's do this. They're going to move. They get a 6-inch move, but it will only just get them on there. They need at least 2 people to be on there. So we're going to do an advance move, which means they can't shoot and they can't charge. They get an advance of 1, so they can get 7 inches. This is not going to help much, but it might be enough. It might be enough to change things. We can get 3 of their guys on there. It's not much, but it might be enough to turn the tide. And it's all going to be down to what happens when the Space Marines shoot and charge. That's the movement phase over. Right. Anyone shooting? Well, they can't, because the Turbogans now can't shoot. They cannot fire because they've done an advance. These guys can't fire because they're in melee. No one can charge because... Actually, why shouldn't they charge? Oh my goodness, if they charge, they might be able to hold up the... They can win. If they charge, they can win. Simple as. If they hold up the captain, the Space Marine captain, they can't charge. They can't charge because they advanced. Right. Their victory comes down to dice rolls now. Okay, let's do this. So, we can't possibly do a charge move. We have to go straight to fights. So, the Barbgons are going to fight 4 of them. Let's see how it goes. 4 attacks, and they hit on a 4+. 2 have managed to hit. So, strength of 4, sorry, is it? Yes, strength of 4 against toughness of 4. The wound on a 4+, neither is wounded. He now gets to fight. He gets 3 attacks with his sword. 3 attacks, hitting on a 3+. 1 didn't manage to hit, 2 did hit. So, strength of 4 against toughness of 4. He wounds on a 4+. Both have wounded. No armor penetration. Barbgons save on a 4+. 1 is saved, 1 is not. So, he gets 1 damage. The Barbgon that's already damaged is now dead. Okay, that's the fights phase over. At the end of this round, the Tyranids are positioned such that they can potentially take this, because this will change at the end of the Space Marines' turn. And it's all going to be down to what happens next. Space Marines' turn. First of all, they get their command point, which puts them on 5. Haven't really used them, haven't really felt a need to be honest with you. So, we now need to determine the Oath of Moment. I am moving the Oath of Moment to here. Remember, he's got 3 damage, and he's got 1 damage. We now need to determine whether they're battle shocked. This is going to turn the tide. If he's battle shocked, Space Marines can't win. Simple as. So, leadership. For the Captain in Terminator armor, he needs a 6 or more. He gets it. Leadership for the Infernus squad, he needs a 6 or more. He gets it. So neither's battle shocked. He's now going to move 5 inches. He is on the victory marker. Right, let's do the shooting phase. The Space Marine captain has Rapid Fire 2. They are within the range of Rapid Fire 2 because he has a 24-inch range. So they are within 12 inches, which means he, instead of 2 attacks, he gets 4. Let's do this. 4 attacks, and he hits on a 2+. He's fighting them. All of them have hit, so we didn't need to move the other moment because they couldn't possibly have avoided that. 4 hits. Strength of 4 against the Termagant's toughness of 3. He wounds on a 3+. Okay, 1 of them didn't wound. Never mind, 3 of them did. So he has no armor penetration. They do their standard save of 5+. Can they save against his wounds? 1 of them did, but 2 of them did not. And he gets to kill 2 of them. Okay, that's the first part of that down. He now gets to shoot. He only gets 1 shot, but it's going to be worth it, I think, because he gets to hit on a 3+, and he's shooting at the barb gaunts. He hits. Strength of 4, toughness of 4, so he wounds on a 4+. He does not wound. Ah, well. Right, charging. Yes, of course we're charging. The captain needs to roll. He has a 4-inch charge to do. Let's see if he gets it. Oh, sorry about that. That kind of, the camera ran out again. So, he's managed to charge. The captain has managed to charge. I'm not sure when the camera stopped, but let's see how it goes. Captain has charged. The Inferno Squad has shot one of the barb gaunts. We need to kill a lot of these guys. Let's do this. So, charge phase is over. We're now going into fights. Captain has charged. He fights first. He has 6 attacks. Six attacks with his sword, and he hits on a 2+. Okay, 1 of them did not hit. 5 of them did. I would have re-rolled on at the moment, but I don't think it's going to be necessary, to be honest with you. Strength of 5 against the Termagant's toughness of 3, so he hits on a 3+. Okay, every single one of those has hit. On penetration -2, so they save on a 6 only. They need a critical save in order to not die. Okay, 2 of them managed it. That's pretty good. 3 of them didn't. 6 attacks, 6 wounds even. Because 3, and each one does 2 damage. We get 3 off. Because, as we've said before, each hit can only go to 1 unit. We can't split. He hasn't done enough. So, Termagants now get to attack. Only 2 of them are within range, and it's not really going to matter either way. Termagants get 1 attack each, hitting on a 4+. There we go. They didn't hit. Infernus Marine now gets to attack. He gets 3 attacks, and he hits on a 3+. All of them have hit. So he gets strength of 4 against Barbgon's toughness of 4, wounds on a 4+. 1 didn't wound, but 2 did. He has no armor penetration, so the Barbgon's saving a 4+. 1 saved, 1 didn't. Which means 1 damage got through, 1 of the Barbgon's is hurt, but not enough. But he successfully kept them out of the firing phase for 2 rounds, which is damn good. They get to attack now. They get 1 each, and there's 3 of them. So 3 attacks. They hit on a 4+. Okay, all of them have hit. Strength of 4 against toughness of 4. They wound on a 4+. 1 of them did not wound. So, armor penetration of 0. He saves on a 3+. And 1 of them did not save. 1 of them did. But it doesn't matter how many damage they do because he's only got 1 left. He is down. They took him out in the final round. So at the end of the match, we have a captain with objective control of 1. And Termagants with objective control of 2 each. 3 of them are on there. However, we have overwhelming force. One Adeptus Astartes unit from your army that is within range of objective marker you control as the target. There he is. That objective marker is secured by you. That is 1 command point. So there we go. That stays in my control, which means we have that one, we have that one, and we have more than the opponent, which gives 15 victory points, which goes to 35. So at the end, because of that one play, Space Marines 35, Tyranids 30, Space Marine victory. So there we are. Like I said, I thought it was going to be fun, and yeah, I enjoyed that. It was a lot of fun. These missions are great. They're focusing the idea of combat patrol so that when you're setting up, you don't have to think, right, how am I going to make this balance? How am I going to make this so that it's fun for both sides? What can we do? It's already there for you. I like the individual missions. This is very cool stuff. And then we get to see how they suggest you play with all of their movements and ideas, charges and fights and all of that. Very cool. Always worth having an actual quick read through these just to see, oh, I could have done this. Oh, I could have done that. And it gives you ideas and helps you to reinforce your ideas of how you play, which is good stuff. I like it. So that's the end of this particular one. But of course, we need to decide what happens next by reading these. And we did get a Space Marine victory. It doesn't happen all the time, but we got one. So let's have a read of what happens next. The Space Marines secure the site and immediately vox for reinforcements. They have won, but by the narrowest of margins, and more Tyranids are on the way. Still, they have a moment of respite. Under the guidance of their commanders, they reflect upon the Tyranid strategies and how best to combat them in the next battle. Yeah, that sounds very, very Space Marine, doesn't it? Oh yes. Again, we covered this last time. We know what's coming next. We're getting the Eldari and the Chaos Space Marines, which are going to be very, very fun. And then that's the end of it, except for a quick look at the back. Next time we get to see the Parasite of Motrex, or the Parchment of Optrex, as I've been calling it. The Plasticine of Optrex. Yes, very cool looking model. The Tyranids have great models. I really love them. And then also the Chaplain on Bike. The Chaplain's an interesting character. I'm looking forward to seeing more about the Chaplain itself and the bike. Anyone who looks at this and doesn't see Judge Dredd, you need to have a look at your eyes, because that's basically Judge Dredd's design. That is cool. I like it. I want to see more. Excellent issue. Really enjoyed the mission. Looking forward to the next one. I'd like to give a big shout out to everyone who supports me on Patreon. Without you guys, I really couldn't continue making all of these shows. And if you'd like to join our fantastic Patreon heroes here, go over to patreon.com/Zoe Kirk Robinson. It really does help us out. Thank you so much, guys.